Hello, welcome to this edition of Intelligent Video Today. I'm your host, Steve Vonhar. Joining us on today's episode, James Broberg, CEO over at StreamShark. Welcome, James.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Now, this is a return visit for you. We talked to you a couple of years ago, but it's great to catch up with what you folks are doing there. For those who don't know much about StreamShark, give us an update on how you're positioning yourself in the enterprise video business these days.
Absolutely. So StreamShark is an end-to-end enterprise video platform, and we really operate everywhere from the source, the signal acquisition, through to play out, and basically everything in between. And our focus is making our customers' lives as easy as possible through automation, through smart video workflows, and our aim is to really make them look amazing to their bosses and their stakeholders.
Of course, AI continues to be the watchword for every software developer out there. What are some new ways that you folks at StreamShark are putting AI to work for your platform?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously the buzzword at the moment. It's been pretty integral to our business, I guess, in the back office, but also in the way that we interact with customers. I think more recently, we're finding it's really helping with customer wins in terms of the velocity that we can move, but also migration. If you're an enterprise video platform customer, you're with a provider for a while, it can seem like in their minds a really big effort to move. And I think AI is definitely helping with that switching cost, both the effort and the time that it takes. So it's not just, the streaming itself, it's your 5 or your 10 years of untagged VOD assets that might be sitting somewhere that might need to be migrated over. And it just seems like an overwhelming task for customers. So in the past, like we might have written some bespoke software, for instance, we did that with IBM Cloud Video back in the day to basically import their customer libraries wholesale into StreamShark. Now these are the sort of things we can do in days or sometimes hours with AI. And the beauty of AI being embedded inside of the StreamShark platform is we can just take that raw video, we use our Shark AI Scribe product, and that just enriches their entire video library with summarization, chapters, high accuracy captions, and basically the whole library comes in ready to use from day one. It's fully searchable, and it's essentially a great knowledge repository for those customers using our platforms.
And given market conditions right now, it's nice to have that automated customer switching capability on hand. In our research here at Intelvid, we find that customers from Vimeo and Brightcove continue to be targets for smaller companies who are looking to grow their pie, their piece of the pie in the enterprise video space. We're hearing that a lot of customers are jumping ship from Vimeo and Brightcove because of rising costs being charged by those platforms. So what are you seeing out in the marketplace in terms of trying to recruit new customers and maybe snag a little bit of extra market share out there?
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of that. We've definitely been waiting for the penny to drop on both of those acquisitions once they were announced. But there's always a bit of a lag. Like some customers are on 1-year deals. Like I'm always shocked to see customers on multi-year deals with these platforms. So it hasn't been maybe as immediate as you might have thought. But yeah, I don't really need to put words in people's mouth. There are definitely a lot of unhappy customers speaking on the forums like Reddit around their experience post-acquisition, finding their plans have been sunsetted or whole products have been dropped. So we are seeing some movement. We've definitely had some significant enterprise wins off those providers. These are big global customers with our core use case in mind, where it's internal comms, investor communications at scale, essentially. So it is opening up a lot of procurement conversations. And it's not just price, I would say. It's kind of a continuity risk in my mind. It's basically saying, well, what's going to happen in 12 months or 24 months? Who is the steward of the product? And for us, like we obsess about enterprise video all day, every day. It's really our core focus here at StreamShark. We're not rolled up and centralized with 10 other companies. We have a very narrow but deep focus on that enterprise use case across a few key use cases. And I can only speak for our own enterprise customers. We've had really long time relationships with them, and they really value the fact that they're talking with the same stakeholders, sometimes 5 or even 10 years later, by working with us.
I know that you do have that deep focus on the enterprise, but you got a couple passion projects, at least in terms of the video realm, that you're working on as well. You're one of the developers, maybe one of the few developers out there I know that are still actively involved in the virtual reality, augmented reality phase of the world. Tell us a little bit about your efforts on that frontier.
Absolutely. Like I'd probably say we were early, maybe too early on VR. Like we've been actually working in that space since 2014, 2015. I'm not sure if it's in shot here, but over there we have some of my vintage headsets, like some of those original developer kits from that era. It's definitely a passion.
Those will be worth something someday, right?
That's why I'm hanging on to them. But it's definitely a passion project for myself and in some ways the company. We're certainly not betting the company on it, but we are absolute leaders in that VR and AR video workspace in terms of workflows for live and on demand. And they're actually really hard, technically hard and challenging problems, like you're dealing with 4K, 6K. These days, 8K video is high frame rate. To actually process and deliver that at scale is a real challenge. But we continue to develop that. We were lucky enough to win a couple of product awards this year at NAB Show, where we've expanded, I guess initially that focused on the MetaQuest headset, which now the workflow works across both Apple, Samsung, and any kind of Google-backed headsets. And I think, yeah, it's maybe not a pervasive platform as, say, the mobile phone, but we see there's what Gartner would call the plateau of productivity sort of starting to occur for really key use cases around media and entertainment, around training, and we're very well positioned to handle those content owners that want to get their content onto those platforms.
Excellent. Another area that I know that you're dabbling in is the whole notion of usability testing. Tell us how that works on the StreamShark platform.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. It was kind of a spin-off from our core event platform, our enterprise platform. But we essentially had a customer that wanted something built for spec for that particular use case, and it's around like global usability labs where they're doing UI and UX studies. They've got physical lab spaces where they're bringing in people to test unreleased products. They might be hardware, they might be software. But it also, you could imagine during COVID, it had to work remotely as well. So we had to integrate with video meeting platforms such as Zoom. So we did an integration with those. So it basically captures all these studies, but it also has all the benefits of the core platform around annotation, metadata, insights into that content. And it has to be super secure as well. So in that use case, you're dealing with personally identifiable information. And if they want to retain that content and get the value out of it, we're doing really sophisticated things around facial blurring, voice masking, and things like that. So it needs to elevate itself beyond screen sharing. It needs to be secure. Access control needs to be super tight to avoid leaks, to avoid any sort of embarrassments or breach of contract.
So does it help in any of those usability applications for StreamShark?
Absolutely. I think in that you're trying to get insight out of the content, it's just a big data lake, right? You've got video, you've got audio. We all have these big video libraries. Our customers have those big video libraries. So it's basically about getting to the root of the value in the content. And AI definitely helps with that in terms of getting insights, in terms of highlighting key points of interest. To be able to find things after the fact, like if I ran a study 6 months ago to say, I remember something interesting happened there and maybe I remember a keyword, how can I find that? If it's not kind of richly indexed and searchable, you're going to have a hard time going back and extracting that value from the video information.
So you're leveraging AI in customer switching, you're leveraging AI and the usability testing data, manipulating that data. Any other ways that AI is impacting your business right now?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing applications in other use cases. So I guess in terms of how it's benefited the business, we've touched on a few of those things. But I guess in terms of product development as well, it's helping us move fast. And I think it's not just like you throw AI at problems. Like I still think there needs to be a human in the loop. Even better if it's humans with deep domain insights that spend all day, every day obsessing about these problems. So I think, we've had some success, in the last sort of 6 to 12 months around bringing products to market really quickly. And some of them, I guess, the NAB Show example is a great example of that, where we expanded our VR and AR platform support to the Apple Vision Pro headsets. They had their own very specific video codec format and way of presenting data. Quite a hard technical problem to solve. And essentially what we found is the product didn't exist in the market in terms of trying to solve the problem that we had. The tools didn't exist. So we basically had to build it from whole cloth, essentially. And AI was a huge accelerator to do that, to bring that to market quickly. But also, it's not just a CRUD kind of web workflow. It was a serious kind of piece of codec work that it helped us accelerate and bring to market in quite a quick fashion. So I was kind of amazed and pleased, but also, being a domain expert, I was able to kind of steward that along and kind of point that in the right direction and get a good outcome that was essentially, standards compliant and kind of tick the box for customers that had that particular need.
It's really fun creating new applications out of whole cloth, bringing new capabilities to bear. Yeah. What else is on the product roadmap for the next 6 months or so? What have you done for me lately?
Yeah. I mean, we've obviously got RBC coming up, so I don't want to preempt too many of those announcements, but I can give you the high points. But I think, our continued focus, I guess, at a broad level is making live and on-demand video more intelligent for our customers. So a lot of that work is around essentially embedding that intelligence in the video signal itself, whether we're letting customers trigger key points of interest or calls to action or mark interesting things in their content themselves and embed that in the video stream, or just do it on the cloud side as well to sort of enrich the content, to make it more interactive for end users, to have that fantastic experience when they're watching that content. And we want that to carry through to the replay as well. So all the sort of immersiveness and interactivity that might occur on that live stream is kind of replicated out in that replay experience as well. So that's all. There's a whole lot of technical detail around that happens in terms of like enriching the video stream as it flows. But that's kind of the high points of that. On the VOD side as well, we're really uplifting that part of the product as well. We're doing a lot of work for content owners around protection of premium content and protected content pipelines. And that's essentially involves rolling out multi-platform DRM for VOD. So we've always had great DRM support for live and our live scheduler product. We're sort of expanding that out for our VOD product. And that helps our most sensitive customers protect and monetize their content libraries across all the key platforms they care about. So that's obviously desktop and mobile, but also as well those VR and AR headsets. And there's a lot of rich licensed content on those headsets as well. You think of premium sports like NBA, concerts, things of that nature. So there's great opportunities there as well.
Well, sounds like you have plenty of balls in the air and pushing a lot of applications forward. So that's good to see that progress on behalf of StreamShark there. So James Broberg, thanks so much for taking the time to visit. I'll let you get back to making those products.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me, Steve.
And we thank you for taking the time to visit with us on Intelligent Video today. If you want access to more interviews like that of James Broberg, CEO of StreamShark, just go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and you'll get notifications of future interviews of our Intelligent Video Today series. For Intelligent Research and Intelligent Video Today, I'm Steve Vonderhaar. Thanks for your time.